Hi, I'm Mr. eTutor, your mystery tutor here at mysterytutor.com, and welcome to video module 4-5. In the previous modules in this series, we've talked about the standards that define right and wrong answer choices on the reading comprehension part of the SAT. Obviously, that's an important part of answering these questions, but it's not the only part. Before you can look at the answer choices, you have to decide how to handle the passage itself. So that's what this module is all about. Now, I've helped thousands of people do better on the SAT, and most of those people came to me after trying something else. You wouldn't believe some of the strategies I've heard for attacking the passages in the reading comprehension section. Some people, for example, read the passage straight through and then go answer the question. That's not so bad. Some people read the questions first, don't answer them, go back and read the passages, then go back and read the questions and answer them. But that's not even the worst. Some people read the questions first, take notes on the questions, then read the passage, take notes on the passage, then go back and answer the questions using their notes. Now, it doesn't really matter how you approach the passage. There's no right or wrong way to do it. As long as you're putting down the right answers and you have enough time, that's all we really care about. But I wanted to make this module so you understand there's more than one way to approach the question of reading the passages. For example, did you know it's entirely possible on a long passage to answer every single question with 100% certainty and never read the entire passage all the way through? In fact, that's what I do whenever I take the test. I go straight to the first question. If it's a line citation question, I go ahead and read the line citation and then answer the question. If it's not a line citation question, I skip until I can find a line citation question and do those first. After I've done all the line citation questions, I go back and answer the questions without citations. To answer the question without citations, I don't reread the passage or anything. I just try to remember the things that I read about to answer the earlier question. This may sound crazy, but I really believe the College Board deliberately sets up these passages so that this is possible. One of the major standards on this part of the test, and it's a standard that most people never pay any attention to, is the fact that the line citations for the questions that have them go in order throughout the passage. So if the first question is on line 13, the next question can't be on line 5. If the first one's on 13, the next one might be on 14 or 15 or 30. It doesn't really matter, but it can't be earlier than the question before it. This is really helpful because it lets you get a sense of the passage as you go back to answer the citation questions without ever having read the passage. If the questions were in a different order, it would be much harder to use this strategy. Now, this strategy of mine can be used on all question types on real SAT questions actually written by the College Board. In other words, for every question in this book, this strategy will work. I can't guarantee that it will work for questions prepared by other companies, but frankly, who cares? The other companies don't make the SAT, and the College Board does. That goes for tone questions, general questions, everything. Every real SAT reading comprehension question can be answered in this way, even if it might seem like that's impossible. So, what does this mean? You don't ever have to read those long passages if you don't feel like doing it. If they bore you, if they distract you, whatever it is, you can go ahead and skip them, get right to the line citation questions, and get started with this method. I want to say again, this is not the only correct way to approach the question of reading the passages, just like my essay approach is not the only way to write an essay that gets a 12. It's just one way, one very good way, and it might save you a lot of hassle if you give it a try. The important thing to take away from this, though, is that absolutely no note-taking of any kind will ever be necessary on the SAT. As we've already discussed, all SAT questions have correct answer choices that restate word for word what appears in the passages. You don't need to take notes. In fact, if you have something to take notes on, you're probably looking at the passage in the wrong way in the first place. There is no inference, there is no subjectivity. It doesn't matter what you think about the passage, because every correct answer choice will come, word for word, directly from the passage itself. So the people who tell you to take notes in order to do well on this part of the SAT are very similar to the people who tell you to read The Great Gatsby so you can write a good essay. They may be well-meaning, but they just don't get what really goes into this part of the test. Thanks for watching. Keep watching all the other videos in this series. And remember, it's easier than you think.